Hey everyone, this is Harrison Musser, your youth pastor, with a little word of encouragement this week. And I got a question for you. Have you ever been so focused on one thing that you completely missed something else that's super obvious, just painfully obvious right in front of you? The other day, my son was on his tablet and walked directly into the door that's essentially a giant window that goes out to the deck. Have you ever been so focused on reading a book or playing a video game, more likely, that you didn't even notice somebody trying to talk to you for 5+ minutes? Probably mom calling you to dinner. Or maybe you lost your phone or your glasses or your house keys and spent forever trying to find those things when you suddenly realize, oh wait, it's in my hand or on my face or in my pocket. Have you ever had the experience where you failed to notice something just painfully obvious? Over the years, I've had this amazing opportunity to be involved with over a dozen youth groups, and I've been able to ask hundreds of students over the years how they're doing. And I remember 3 students in particular that I had asked several times surface level questions like how you were doing, and received surface level answers like fine or good or even great. But those answers, you guys, were totally not how they were actually doing, totally not how they were actually feeling. While outwardly they seemed totally okay, inwardly they were really, really struggling. They may have kept it all together on the outside, but underneath they were dealing with addiction to drugs and alcohol. They were dealing with bullying and even a plan to get revenge at school by using a gun. They were dealing with suicidal thoughts and actions. But I totally missed each and every one of those things. All 3 times, I was totally clueless about what was really going on with these 3 individuals. And although these people are alive and well today, the actions that were born out of isolation, depression, and a real desperation had serious, if not life-threatening, consequences. So this is a song that I wrote about these 3 people and the stories that they tell. That if you look beneath the surface in order to really help someone, it's amazing what God can do. So let's check this out.
If I tell the story of a secret pain
burned in my brain,
you've got to tell me just a tale or two
what you've been through. I scratch the surface of my problem, then I bury it deep inside. But the truth seems inescapable, leaving me with nowhere to hide. A dead-end job is waiting, the kind that you would not believe. I lost all my hope in humanity. Did I mention my broken dreams? Try to drink away this feeling from all of the bottles I've hid so well. But the hangover that consumes me doesn't make me feel less unwell.
And if you ask me if I'm okay,
If I'm okay,
I'll say the words that made you believe
made you believe
that I meant it back when I would say
it's a beautiful day. A friendless life is waiting, and all of the bullies they push and yell, they are the cruelest ones of all. One day I'll show them just how I feel. Plant a fire at this feeling with all of the weapons I've hid so well. And every bullet in the chamber is one more step down the path toward hell.
And if you ask me if I'm happy, I'll say I'm having such a grand day.
Such a grand day.
Like a seasoned actor in a play.
And I walk away.
If I sing the song of an inner shame
that can't be named,
you got to tell me something real to you
about what you've been through. A heart shaped box is waiting, one that nobody else can find. It's filled with lots of sharp objects. Hope that they help me to ease my mind. Try to bleed away this feeling, open the scars that I've hid so well. But the blood that flows on down the drain hypnotizes me under its spell.
And if you ask me if I'm okay, I'll say the words that made you believe that I meant it back when I would say
it's a beautiful day.
Can you relate to that song? Have you ever been so focused on yourself, your image, your life, or your needs that you completely missed what was happening in someone else's life? What it looks like to take our eyes off of ourselves long enough to see the needs of someone else. Well, it looks like Jesus. Because the reality is there are people all around you who are going unseen, and it breaks God's heart. There could be a guy who looks like he's got it all together on the outside, but maybe his parents are getting a divorce. Maybe that's the plan as soon as this COVID-19 lets up. Or maybe there's a girl you see often that you assume is just quiet, you know? She's just introverted. She likes to keep to herself, but maybe the reality is she's really, really lonely. Maybe you know someone, and maybe they're even a close friend who is outwardly so positive and friendly and outgoing, but inwardly they're actually terrified that someone will find out just how anxious, depressed, or afraid they really are. Maybe you know someone who's lost their job during this time. Maybe they have no idea how they're gonna make ends meet, no idea how they're gonna put food on the table. Maybe there's someone in your life who has been suffering under the tyranny of prejudice, and you never knew it. You were just clueless. The truth is, we are all surrounded by people who are hurting and in need, but all too often, we fail to notice them. In Philippians 2, verses 3 and 4, we see an example of Christ's humility. It says, "Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to your own interests, but also to the interests of others." Wow. That's such a big deal, isn't it, in this day and age? So I don't know about you, but I know I need the occasional stern reminder, like this one, to stop being so me first and to start being after you. But I love that Paul doesn't just tell us what not to do, but also tells us what to do. In one breath, he says, don't just think about yourself. And in the next, do take interest in others. In one breath, he says, don't be obsessed with your own needs. And in another breath, do notice the needs of others. So don't be selfish, and then go a step further than that and become selfless. But how do we be selfless in a selfie world? It's so easy for us to live a me first kind of life, isn't it? A life where we get so focused on ourselves and our needs that we fail to notice the needs of people right in front of us. In Mark chapter 9, after Jesus sends out his disciples on their first missionary trip, they're exhausted, and Jesus notices that they really need food, that they're hungry, and so he feeds them. And later on in that same chapter, we see them following his example and noticing crowds of people that are hungry all around them. And because they had their needs met by Jesus, they were able to focus on them and be a part of Jesus meeting their needs. So the first step really to living selflessly is to first look. And that's both up and out. To look up to God, to have him meet our needs first, and then, and only then, are we able to look out and see the needs of others. Only after we have been truly seen ourselves and cared for ourselves by our Father will we be able to truly be intentional about noticing and really seeing those that are around us. This is such a huge deal. Imagine all the people in your life right now who are longing to be truly seen. But since we haven't been with God and we haven't received the food that we need for our souls, we can't see them. We can't see their needs. Worse yet, we could be running them over because we're spiritually hangry. So the second step to living selflessly is to discover. Before they could help anybody else, Jesus, with the crowds, they had to do a little research. The disciples, they had to go around and find out what kind of food was available. They had to find the fish and they had to find the loaves. Even though there were so few, they had to do that research, and so do we. Once we've noticed someone, we need to get seriously curious about them. We need to take a real interest in what they're interested in. We need to hear their story. We need to ask better questions about how they're doing and really listen. Actually give them our full attention. Imagine for a second what it might be like to be them. Put yourself in their shoes. Wonder about what needs they might have that they haven't communicated to anybody else. But we have to be fully present. Without that, we can't discover their needs. But once we discover their needs, the final step to living selflessly is to actually do something. Once we truly have seen someone and discovered their needs, we need to do something about those needs. Just like Jesus commanded his disciples to give out all the food to the crowds, we are also called to do, to go, to help, to act, and to serve. And I promise you, if you're willing to live an after you kind of life, not only will the life of someone around you be changed, but you will be changed. So to recap, selfless living starts with having our needs met and then noticing others' needs and then meeting those needs. Hey, thanks for tuning in today, and I just look forward so much to meeting with you actually again physically in person very soon. So God bless you this week, and we'll see you again.